Yeah.
I think you've hit on a key point there. I think there is a definite correlation between creating customers for life and the role support plays in it. And we see that every day. And I have this, simple belief and philosophy that over the years that we've seen that happy customers buy more and happy customers tell others to buy. And I think that very much holds true today in social media world, where experience of one customer generally cannot be hidden from other customers. So the more positive experiences and interactions we can drive as a support organization, that's important. And I think the other key point is that support is, it's a tough business. Some days go better than others. And so it's not, we're not perfect. So one of the key things is transparency. I think, customers really appreciate the engagement and transparency. So regardless of how the resolution journey goes, and some days it goes better than others, the transparency and the connection with the customers resonate every day.
I'm going to add to this, Ryan. I totally agree with Dave, you and Hussein. I think, look, and this is slightly controversial, I'd say that support is where the relationships are truly formed with the customer. Now, when I put my success hat on, then I would argue that, look, success is where the relationship is formed because we go proactive, we go informed, we've seen the usage data and all of that. But here is the other thing. When is a relationship really formed? When do people call support? When they're stuck. I bought this product and I really wanted to deliver something. I have something that I needed to do. It's not doing. Who's going to come to rescue? Normally, you'll call up support. They help you. And that's where the relationship is formed because you know that I'm now starting to get the value which I really wanted. So that's what I think, This is where the real value starts to get delivered. And this is where they start to trust you. And this is a very important component. So, generally when we think of it, this is where I would say don't cut corners. It is okay to have some extra people there because when your customers are calling you, they literally need you now. That's not where you want to start doing, I want to cut corners. I want to have 4 less people to support. That's not the right, at least that's not the right game plan for me.
Vinny, says the guy who probably manages the largest team here, in terms of that.
And I'm telling you, it's worked very well. We would sometimes joke, when the product fails, support comes to rescue. So it's doing us good. And we have a great product.
And certainly we don't want to minimize any of the other functions. It takes a village to create a customer for life. And I think all of the functions are very critical. We look at the world in customer journey, and customer journey is part of many other smaller journeys that each of the functions are driving. So, I think, success is a very critical. Having sat on a number of different seats, I think implementation is very critical. All of these functions are very critical, but it collaborative together. I think it creates, and I use this analogy called, the car. And, you have 4 wheels. And I think, so depending on what kind of an organization you are, your sales organization, your success organization may be in the front wheels, but then your product and your support organization on the rear wheels, and the best cars are all-wheel drive. So I think that's what you need.
I love that. I feel like we're kind of getting around that idea of CX being defined by PX and SX and these different pieces. They all got to be part of it. I like what Hussam was saying about the stickiness of a product. I think that next level of stickiness is, like Dave, like you're saying, driving those wheels